sada sahay. Om Namah Shivaya. Guruji sada sahay.
Dear Sangatji, Guruji has lovingly advised us to listen to each satsang in its entirety, from the beginning to the end, as each satsang has the potential to answer our doubts and queries in its own unique way. The blessings of Guruji are shared between both the reader and the listener. So therefore, let us make time and listen with devotion and an open heart. Shukrana Guruji, Jai Guruji.
Light of Divinity. My quest for a Puran Guru. Ever since I knew my own mind, I had an inner urge to have the darshan of my Guru. I could always feel the presence of a Guru, but could not see him. When faced with adversity, I remembered him, and right from childhood, a divine protective power manifested itself and helped me. How I met Guruji. My husband and I were at Chandi Mandir. It so happened that an army officer's daughter was unwell. I asked her to be sent home so that I could examine her. I diagnosed viral hepatitis, gave her some medicines and sent her home. Later in the day, I met the daughter's father and asked her how she was. Imagine my surprise when he said she was absolutely fine since Guruji had come to his home. I complained that he had never mentioned his Guruji to me before and asked him to call me whenever Guruji happened to come next. He did so. I rushed into the officer's home to find Guruji sitting in the couple's room. He identified me instantaneously saying, "Come, Dr. Sahib, daughter of Dr. Bhagwan Das and Leelavati." He had told me my parents' names. I knew he was my Guru. I was on top of the world. The very next day, I was given Diksha, initiation at his temple. There was no looking back and his grace started flowing. Savior of souls. We were saved from many fatalities. Before I had met Guruji, I could, as I said, feel his protection. Once when I was driving in Srinagar, a car driven by an army officer I instantly recognized came right in front. I swerved to avoid a collision, my car heading for a culvert. My vehicle stopped with its rear quarters perched on the road, and it stayed there, 3/4 of it hanging off the road. The officer came out of his car and told me my brakes had failed. I could only thank God for saving me. Later, when the divine protective power was revealed to be Guruji, he continued to save us. When I was in Jalandhar, a minibus nearly rammed my car near Guruji's temple. I reached the temple only to find him standing near the gate. He looked at me and said, "Saved." In December 2005, I had taken my son's car out to go to a nearby park for a stroll. A truck came near a crossing and would have hit me, but the truck driver veered away. Rare road behavior, since it is generally smaller vehicles that have to take evasive action. The truck driver looked at me crossly and I was compelled to tell him that it was my Bhagwan, God, who had saved me. Hearing these words, he smiled and moved on. A first ever promotion case in the army. Guruji also got my husband, a major general posted at Chandi Mandir then, promoted. The board cleared him, but there were only 5 vacancies and he was the 8th one on the list. There was no chance that he would get promoted. Guruji was in Jalandhar. My husband had his darshan there. After the langar, Guruji said, "Lieutenant General Sahib, let's give you a dining out." After distributing some sweet prasad, Guruji gave him a dress to wear and a silver glass to take milk from. I kept the clothes and the glass, which were blessings, in an almirah. But Guruji told me that my husband should wear them. He did, and Guruji's blessings simply kept flowing. To our surprise, he got 3 extensions till he was promoted, a first ever case in the army. That delay occurred as the file was stuck. Guruji sent me to Delhi to check up on the case. A general, a devotee of the Guruji's, met me there and was apprised of the case. After his intervention, the file moved again. Within days, my husband was posted as Lieutenant General to the AMC Center in Lucknow, a kingdom in itself. Music system plays without power. In Lucknow, Guruji stayed with us for some time. Once a fuse got burnt at around 3 a.m. The generator did not function. It was time for the satsang and Guruji, the divine light of our lives, was sitting amidst us. He told my daughter to switch on the audio tape machine. She didn't, as there was no electricity. Guruji repeated his command. My daughter switched on the tape and lo, it worked and played for 4.5 hours. Without electricity, mind you. Getting a devotee's house built. Guruji also got my house built in Panchkula. When he asked me to do so, I had very little money. My husband greeted the news with sarcasm. He wondered where the money for the undertaking would come from and asked me whether Guruji would shower money. As it happened, so was the case. My husband gave me a little seed money around rupees 40,000 that had been saved over from my son's marriage. Then I found, thanks to Guruji's indirect prompting, I had some fixed deposits I could use. Finally, after Guruji had asked me for the third time about my shares, I was able to sell them at a good price. Suddenly, the money was there. Guruji even asked a shopkeeper to give me material on a discount. Before long, the house in Panchkula was complete. My husband's query had been amply answered. Guruji made a house for us to stay in. It's his temple and we are its caretakers. The gift of a silk shirt. Thanks to Guruji, my son's weddings were also blessed. Guruji attended my son Manoj's wedding in 1991 in Chandi Mandir. He predicted that the couple would have 2 sons and it was so. In fact, when doctors tried to hide from me the sex of the infant in the mother's womb, I, remembering Guruji's words, told them. Similarly, my son Arvind was blessed with a son and a daughter. His wedding took place in 1995 and Guruji came and blessed the couple. My daughter-in-law could not conceive, but due to his blessing she did. He also played a key role in my younger son Rahul's marriage. Rahul, who had gone to the US on a scholarship, called up one day to say that he liked an American girl. I was put off, but by mutual consent we decided to leave the decision to Guruji. If he says yes, I told my son, then you can go ahead. But if it is a no, then the idea would have to be dropped. He agreed. When I approached Guruji, he gave his nod. He even gave the date for the wedding. It was a December wedding to be held during the day. Guruji gave my husband a cotton pant and a silk shirt to wear. My husband said he would not get the dress stitched since it was a winter wedding. He, in fact, wanted to opt for a suit. Lo and behold, the wedding day was bright and sunny. The guests who had put on their coats suffered from the heat. My husband, of course, wore the cool dress of blessings given by Guruji. Everything happens at his time. We were to leave Jalandhar for Lucknow on the Shatabdi. We had gone for Guruji's darshan and he made us sit so it was half an hour past the train's departure time. We reached the station and found the train was half an hour late. Similarly, once we had to go from Noida to Panchkula. We were very late and started out from home at the Shatabdi's departure time. My husband maintained on the ride to the railway station that the Shatabdi would have left, but we carried on regardless. At the station, the train seemed to be waiting for us. We easily boarded the train. I had not even prayed to Guruji about the matter since it was so trivial. But he himself worries about us and takes care of us. In Chandi Mandir, on a whim, I once went to Guruji straight away in the morning, thinking that I would rejoin my duties after his darshan. Guruji made me sit till 11 a.m. though. I had to go to the military hospital by 10:30 a.m. However, I waited calmly. When I went to the hospital, I was told that no patient had come. All of the army ladies had gone to Chandi Mandir, where a general had come for an inspection. Divine intervention. My husband is an avid golfer and he was complaining of a pain in the right knee. It was a hairline fracture and a colleague told him that he would put a cast over it. I forestalled the clinical adventure, putting my faith firmly behind Guruji. Indeed, Guruji simply brushed his hand over the tender spot and the pain was gone. We are fortunate to be in his presence. Even a glance from him, the Puran Guru, is sufficient to take care of our suffering. In Jalandhar, my routine was to go from my medical duties at the OPD to Guruji's place for satsang, the regular hours for which were between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. Once Guruji asked me to check his pulse, and I recorded at 40 beats per minute. But I told him I would not be worried even if he had no pulse, for I knew he is a divine incarnation, much above the laws of the physical body. Satsang by Dr. Mrs. Ahuja, a retired army medical practitioner living in Panchkula. Jai Guruji.